Welcome back, everybody. So I'm going to look at Cardano, alright? So a bit of ADA on this. And the other day I was making a live stream on here and people were asking me to look at it. I gave it a little look. At the time it had just reached 10 cent. And I said, and in hindsight, kind of silly, foolishly, but it's the whole aim of the game is to play it safe, that I thought that would likely be the peak, because this is where we peaked here last year many times and just only ever got ever so slightly above it before we continued essentially a downtrend which we've been in until just recently. So I was wrong on that one, but I used charts to get the edge. All right, so I could have just FOMO'd in, which appears like what a lot of people have done, and made what looks to me, I haven't measured it, but it looks to me that from 10 cent that's probably going to be over 30%. Yeah, it is. It's more than that. So yeah, it's about 40%. It was a bit of a bad ruler there that I did there. So what's going to happen now? Is it going to continue? Is it going to go up, or is it going to go down? What's going on? Right. Well, I'll tell you what. It's off the chart. All right. So when it's off the chart, it means that it can't really be charted. Okay. It's off the actual chart. So what I mean by that is that realistically, historically, levels like this have only been achieved way back here. Okay, and this was all in sort of downtrending territory. Obviously the chart would have gone on before, but I've only got access to this chart. But realistically, this is such a bold move that I'm trying to work out if there's any supports and resistances of any significance at this level that we're at right now, and I don't think there is. I think unfortunately 10 cent is where we're going to come back down to. Just give me a few minutes to explain that. I have to use the chart in order to find supports and resistances, okay? So we all agree that this area here was resistance and this area was 10 cents. So resistance. Tried to do it, resistance, but couldn't take it, okay? Did we ever come back up to 10 cent again recently? No, just the other day. So now this looks like FOMO. It also looks like FOMO when you have a look at the state of the RSI. The RSI is it's 82 right now after this little pullback as well. So have we ever been this high before? Probably here. So we have been a little higher than that before, and that was at the peak of, well, it wasn't even the peak, it was the beginning of the bull run for the majority of the market last year, around April, May. So yeah, we did come up around that level before, and that was where we peaked actually. So is this where we're going to peak now? I think it probably is, but again, FOMO is strong. You've seen what's happened to Dogecoin. I mean, FOMO, like I said, you can't account for FOMO. You can only, it's a gamble. It's a massive gamble. You can always FOMO in and make money, but you can almost always lose it too. So what I'm going to say here is that 10 cent appears to be the area to what am I doing here? The area to find support at. What am I doing here? What the hell am I doing, man? The area to be, I suppose, hoping for a bounce. Where did we launch from? Did we launch from here? Or would we consider this? So I'll tell you what we'll do is, well, first of all, we'll say that this is probably where it launched from, okay? So let's have a look at this fib. What do we have around here? We have 10.5. We also have 10. Okay, so that makes a bit of sense. Okay, so this area here, this little area within here, that is the area where we broke and shot up from. Okay, so I think that this is the fib channel, the 0.5 that we're going to come back down into, and probably maybe make another attempt to move again from there. That lines up pretty well, almost exact, maybe give or take a few fractions of a cent, and also it coincides with this level of support and resistance, basically resistance from back in the day, from over a year ago. So that's how I see this one playing out. Okay, I'm not saying that we can't fluctuate around this level. There is technically what would appear to be an alt season going on at the moment, so anything is possible. It could continue. People could be throwing money in. It's a top cap coin. It's in the top 10. It's got a large market cap behind it. Liquidity is going to be huge on this, but it's getting pretty overstretched. The key for me really is if this money flow index, which it hasn't at all, but if it ever came into this completely overbought territory, it would be time to go. Be interesting to see how this looks on a lower time frame. We go to a 4-hourly. It didn't touch it. It didn't touch it at all. Actually, it rarely ever gets touched. That's one of the ultimate sell signals for me. There's no point in looking at it in any less. We'll just do it for a laugh to see if there's anything to see for a laugh. Not even on the hourly it did it. So again, you rarely ever see that. It's something that would have to go absolutely parabolic. So I suppose it's got that in its favour. But generally speaking, on a daily chart when an RSI is this high, I think it's time for it to come down, and I think it'll have a staggered. It'll be all over the place. And look at things like VeChain. I mean, they go. I mean, some of these things just go. Do you know what I mean? And hindsight is amazing to have hindsight and go, oh, if only, I'd have just... But you can't really look at things in hindsight. The idea of trading, investing is different, but the idea of trading is to not specifically have any kind of hindsight, and it's to try and map out your risk and reward and what's most likely to happen given the tools that you've got. To basically is the only edge that you have, unless you're a fundamentals type person and you keep your ear to the ground and you know that something's going to happen, then that's a different ball game. But when you've got a chart like this, it's telling me that actually it's definitely overbought. Of course it can go higher, it can be FOMO'd into, and it can go completely mental. It's crypto, but it could almost certainly find its way back down, and maybe it doesn't get to 10 cent, maybe it bounces on these levels here, maybe it bounces, well, there's not much difference between it, is there really? But maybe it bounces around 10.7 cent, or maybe it bounces around 12.1 cent. But my eyes would be especially between 10.7 and 10 flat for it to come down to before it goes much higher than it is right now. Anyway, I'll leave that with you there. Now, I hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy. I've got a YouTube, I've got a Twitter, I've got an Instagram and a Telegram. Feel free to join me on any of those. Take it easy. Goodbye.